Folks, we're going to go back in the way, way back machine with Casey Brick by Brick Wealth and talk about 2010. You may not know this, but she was in Southern California. She was active in the real estate game. And we're going to talk about some 2010 mistakes, which I don't think I've done in a while. So, Casey, thank you for being vulnerable. This should be fun.
Yes. So I'm always, people always look back and, oh, I wish I would have, I should have, would have, could have. And I have a shoulda, woulda, coulda. And it is that I should have bought real estate in 2010. So back then, so I started off in real estate in 2007 with my California broker license, and I helped real estate investors, flippers, find flips in Southern California. I'd use my gas. I drive all around from the desert to the beach to Los Angeles. I was their little guinea pig that went and found properties. So finally, I talked to my husband. I was like, Blake, we have to buy some rental properties. Like, I don't want to flip because I don't have $1 million to flip these houses. And that's at the time I thought you needed to have all the money. I'm like, I don't have $1 million like these people do to flip these $800,000 houses. But we should buy rental properties. My friend Mikey, our friend Mikey's grandma owned 10 rentals. That's the only people I knew that owned rental properties on purpose. Everyone else had just kept their condo, rented it out when they bought a house. It's kind of an accident. Oh, maybe I can make some money if I keep it. Don't need the down payment for the other house. So I knew some people who had been accidental landlords, but none on purpose in California. And social media was still kind of like Facebook at the time. 2010 was, how are you feeling, smiley face? I mean, that was the extent. There was no networking that I was aware of. There was no coaching programs. Didn't even know what that was really until a few years ago. So I had no help, no one to teach me about rental properties. I could fix up. I knew how to flip just from working with investors, but not rentals. So Blake and I said, let's buy some rental properties. All right. I know how to analyze, for cash flow. I know how to fix up properties because I had fixed them up with the investors and then my dad. So let's do this. So we went to Fontana, Inland Empire, Southern California, Inland Empire, and we made 30 to 40, I think it was a little over 40 different offers on potential rental properties that were between $140,000 and $180,000. We were in contract on some, we were in counter on some, we got through the inspection period on some, but never did we actually pull the trigger and go all the way to the end. And those properties cash flowed at the time. I knew that they did. I was just too scared because I didn't have anyone to validate my decisions. What if I was wrong? So many what ifs, right? Like we all have as new investors.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Memphis, okay, in 2013, it was a few years later, 2000, maybe it was 2018 or 19. It wasn't that long ago. I went through my attic. So at the time as a real estate agent, right? Well, you have to keep your files for 5 years, right? Mm. So I brought them with me because they were all paper. We still use fax machines. We were barely putting things on a CD. Okay. So I had to bring all my paperwork with me to Memphis when I moved. I just wanted to be safe, follow the rules, bring all the files. Yep. So I'm cleaning out my attic one day and I find this bucket of offers. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all about this. I must have suppressed the bad memories or something. So I take the offer forms and I go online and I go look up some of these addresses.
Oh no, you looked up on Zillow what they're worth now. Oh, yeah. That's not good.
So remember at the time, 2010, they were selling for $140,000 to $180,000. That was the price range of the offers that I looked through in my bin.
Sure.
So today, and I just looked up some neighborhoods before we got on this call. These houses are anywhere from $450,000 to $600,000 now, and the rents are over $3,000. And at the time, the rents would have been I think $1,200 to $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if I would have bought those freaking properties back then, I would be in a much different place in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so much truth in all of that. One of the things is I tell people all the time, it's 10 years, right? Inflation's a feature, not a bug, but you really don't see it until 10 years. Now, if you happen to be buying at the bottom, which was 2010, and happen to have a crazy run up by 2023, it's wild, right? I mean, just do the math, right? Let's say 150 for easy math. 150 grand, let's say 20% down, 30 grand. Mm-hmm. Let's say 35 grand closing costs, all of that. That 35 grand turns into I don't know, 350 grand of equity
Yeah.
or 400 grand. Oh my God. This hurts my head to think about.
They're all over 450. Like the area I just looked on realtor.com. They're all over 450. Some are up to in the fives, like someone for like six. So I'm just like, oh my, and
Ah,
that's no after prices have gone down in California, and the rents and these houses would have been paid off by now. Like I would have paid them off.
that's just wild. So I
I'd
guess
have
I got
three
to cut.
thousand a month. I'd have 3,000 a month in rental income and just been paying, a property manager, property taxes, home
Sure.
insurance, getting
Yeah.
all that and having all that equity. And I probably would have had even more. I would have had several out there, I'm sure by then.
Well, don't beat
Lessons.
yourself up too bad. Yeah. So that's what I want to
I
get to
know.
next. Do you remember why you backed out? So you write some offers, you get some counters, you get an escrow. Do you remember like what it was like
Yeah.
you and your husband going, "Oh, I just don't know. Maybe not this one."
Yep. So it was a couple things. Like I remember, so two things in particular come to mind. One of them was I wasn't like 100% sure if it would rent for what I thought. So it was just me doing the analysis, just me, no one else helping me validate, just Blake and I. Is this really going to rent? I didn't know to call property
Ah.
management companies and try and find out. I just did my own research. So what if they didn't really rent for that? So that was the first thing.
So that's funny
The
you
other
bring that
thing
up.
was, oh, go
Real
ahead.
quick. This is so funny. Our track. Like the first 5 years, I lived on my computer and Excel spreadsheet. I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
This is a people business. You
I
should be
didn't talk to
talking to
anybody either.
people. Yeah. I mean, that is so common. Today, maybe it's hopefully easier with social media and all of this, but folks, it's a people business. Go out and talk to people, ask for referrals, double check numbers. I mean, it's wild to see that we did the same mistake. So, what was the second one?
Yeah. The second one was these houses did need some work, right? And I don't mean a lot, I mean, every house needs work if it's been lived in, if they didn't fix it or flip it. So needed some work. And what if we were wrong on how much it would cost to fix up? So we fixed up at that time our own house that we were living in, and then I'd help my dad. But otherwise, that's all of our experience in
Right.
fixing up houses. And we knew we would do it ourselves, right? We weren't going to hire it out. We were going to do it. But what if we were wrong? What if we uncovered some surprise expenses and now it costs us more money than we have to fix? So we're like, maybe this one needs a little bit too much work and maybe we're getting in over our heads. Let's back out.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Right. And today you would tell someone to validate with other folks, get walkthroughs, do all of
I'd say
those
get three
things.
quotes.
Yeah, get 3 quotes. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to think about. But I guess it's got to be a painful memory. Finding that box and going, what if?
It sucks. It does
It
suck. And
sucks.
and it does suck. But it's like the thing to remember is, and we're in a situation now in today's economy that it's very scary and everything's
Mm,
we're unsure, right? The economy, who knows? We're gonna have an election soon. Who knows what all of that political stuff is gonna do to the economy and people's mindsets on buying and the housing market and interest rates and our lender's going to start backing out because they know these loans are going to get refinanced. And so now they're charging so many extra points and they don't really want to fund your loan now. And so we don't really know what's going to happen. So that's why I can go back to the thing we talked about earlier is make sure that what you buy cash flows, right? Get some help with your estimates. Get help with your rental estimates. Get help with your estimates for your rehab, right? Get some actual contractors, people that know what they're doing to give you some quotes. Talk to property managers. Talk to people to validate all your decisions, your rental estimates, your ARV, your rehab costs. Get other people to help you. Talk to multiple people to get their opinion before you go in on a deal, just to be sure that you're doing the right thing and you're not making a mistake. And I didn't get the help before. And if I had even known who to ask, I probably would have had my decisions validated, and I would have moved forward and purchased some of those properties.
I don't want to ask this question, but I'm going to ask this question anyway, just because. Is it fair to say that you probably lost $1 million by not reaching out to other folks? Is that kind of the punchline here?
100%. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That hurts. That
I
hurts.
know.
Well, Casey, thank you for being vulnerable. Where can people find you and maybe even ask you some questions?
People can find me on Instagram at Brick by Brick Wealth, and you guys, you can DM me. I answer my own DMs. So feel free to message me, and I'm happy to chat with you online.
Folks, do me a favor, send her a note on Instagram, a DM, just saying thank you for coming on One Rental at a Time. We appreciate her. And don't forget, she'll be in Vegas with us February 17th and 18th. Yay!